Welcome to the Ultimate Windows Password Cracking course. In this course, we will learn the methodologies and tools to gain access to a Windows machine. We will see different methods to bypass and crack Windows passwords. The course contents includes how to quickly set up Kali in a virtual environment, how we can gain access to a Windows machine with bypassing passwords, and how we can crack passwords, and how to extract passwords from RAM. We will see the practical demonstration of the best tools for bypassing and resetting passwords, including Conboot, Iron Boot CD, and Kali Linux. We will also see how the most popular password cracking tools work, including John the Ripper, Offcrack, and Hashcrack. And we will be performing these attacks both from Kali Linux as well as from Windows. What are you waiting for? Let's crack some passwords. Hi, I am Amar, and I will be your instructor for this course. I am an information security professional and a network engineer with multiple technical degrees including a telecom engineering, a master's in information security, and master's in computer science. I have multiple technical certifications from technical giants like Cisco, Huawei, Microsoft, and EC Council. These certifications include Certified Secure Computer User, Huawei HCNA and HCNP Security, Microsoft Office Specialist, and Cisco Certified Network Technician, and many more. With years of experience in mobile app development, Web3 development, and practical hacking and pen testing, I will guide you through step by step on this course. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Before starting off with our practical lectures, let's get an overview how passwords are stored. When you set or change a password, Windows generates a LM hash and anti-hash. Hashes are stored in Security Accounts Manager database, commonly known as SAM or SAM file. The hashes are irreversible and you cannot obtain password directly from a hash. So when logging in, when a user enters passwords, Windows computes its hash and then compare this hash with the entry in the SAM file. And if both hashes are equal, the user is logged in. So the tools that we are going to study in this section manipulate this SAM file to crack or bypass the passwords. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can install Kali Linux on VMware. Kali is a popular distro among the security community due to its design. It incorporates tools oriented towards penetration testing, security research, computer forensics, and reverse engineering. Kali Linux is pre-installed with over 600 pen testing programs. So, in this lecture, we are going to see how we can install VMware, and then we are going to see how we can install Kali Linux on it. Now for the VMware, we are going to use the free version. Moreover, for Kali Linux, we are going to install the live CD version. First of all, download and install VMware Player from the given website. VMware Player is free to install. Now download Kali Live ISO and install it in VMware. Let's move to the demonstration to actually install Kali on VMware machine. First of all, on your Windows machine, search for VMware. I am using Windows 10, but this can be done on Windows 11 as well. Open the official website and ensure that you are on VMware Workstation Player page. Click Download for PC. Here you can see the version of the workstation and just click download. and click Start Download. Once downloaded, open the installer and download VMware Workstation. Once installed, click Finish. Now close this window. Once installed, just double click VMware icon to open it and choose the option to use it for personal use. Now come back to your browser. Search for Kali Linux. Open the official website and click on Download. Here there are many versions of Kali available. There are also versions for virtual machines, but we are not going to install that. We are going to install the live boot version for this demo. Now this live version has a major advantage that once you shut down the machine, it resets all settings, which is very beneficial in pen testing environment. Now for VMware, I recommend that you install 32-bit version. Just select the 32-bit version and click on download. You can also download it via torrent. It's around 3 GB. Just start download. Once downloaded, you will have an ISO image. Now we need to install this on our VMware. Just open VMware. Click on Create a new virtual machine. Select the ISO file. And click Next. Now you need to select the operating system that you are installing. Just select Ubuntu from the list. Give your virtual machine a name. Now click on Next. Select the option to split disk into multiple files. Now click on Next. Now you need to customize some hardware. Just we need to change one thing here. Just select the network card and change the setting to bridged. In bridge mode, your machine will act as a separate PC on your network and it will have a separate IP, which will be very useful in performing some attacks. Now click Finish and your virtual machine will be created. Now click on Play button and your virtual machine will start. Just select the live boot option and your Kali will start in VMware. Now once started, you can check the IP address of your machine by opening the terminal and giving it the command of ifconfig. So we have successfully installed Kali Linux on our VMware with a separate dedicated IP address. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can make Kali Linux a bootable USB drive. To make Kali Linux as a USB bootable drive, we need two things. We need a Kali Linux ISO file and we need a software called Rufus that will make our USB bootable. In step 1, download Kali Live ISO from the website. In step 2, download Rufus to make a bootable USB. Choose the portable version to download. Now run Rufus. Select your Kali Linux ISO file and USB drive and make it bootable. Once it becomes bootable, Plug in your USB in your PC, reboot into USB to boot Kali as live OS. You may need to disable secure boot from BIOS settings. Let's see the actual demonstration. First of all, search for Kali Linux and open the official website. Now go to the download page. Scroll down and click on Live Boot option. Here we have 64-bit as well as 32-bit versions available. Just click on 32-bit version and click on download. And click start download. Now search for Rufus. Open the official website. Scroll down and download Rufus portable version. And click start download. Now we have both Kali Live ISO file as well as Rufus downloaded. Execute Rufus program. If it gives some warning, ignore them. Choose your USB drive and then select the ISO file. Navigate where Kali Linux ISO has been downloaded and select it. Ensure that partition scheme is selected as MBR and click on start. And now wait for Rufus to complete its task. Once it finishes, you can go into your USB drive and see that we have all the files that we need. Now plug in your USB in your target PC. Open the boot menu by pressing escape or F12 or whatever your system supports and boot into USB drive. Now select to boot Kali as live system. And Kali Linux will boot automatically. So in this manner we can install Kali on our USB drive that will be utilized in our future lectures. Thanks for watching the lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can bypass Windows password with a utility called CHNTPW. CHNTPW is a utility to preset the passwords of any local user on a Windows system. It supports all Windows from NT 3.5 to Windows 10 and Windows 11, including 64-bit operating systems. It is the best utility to quickly reset Windows authentication passwords. Now, this tool can be used in two attack scenarios. In scenario 1, you have physical access to a system which is password locked. This tool can be quickly used to remove the password. In scenario 2, you have a physical access to a system that uses online account for an authentication, such as an email account. This tool can be used to enable local administrator account on the PC, which will allow access to the system. Now let's see where the Windows stores its passwords. Windows stores its user information, including the encrypted versions of the passwords, in a file called SAM. It is usually found in Windows System 32/config folder. This utility manipulates the file in an interactive manner to clear the passwords. Now in step 1, download the USB version of the utility from the official website. Now extract all files and copy the files to a USB drive. Ensure that the USB is formatted and there is no important data on it. Now run a command prompt on Windows as an administrator and use the given command. Here F is the drive letter name and change it as per your USB drive letter in your PC. The USB will become bootable without any notification. A file ldlinux.sys may appear on the USB drive. Now restart your PC and press escape or F12, whatever your system supports, to enter into boot menu and boot from USB. CHNTPW utility will boot and search for the Windows installation drive. Type 1 or whatever your drive is and press enter. The tool will ask for which registry file you want to manipulate. We want to manipulate the same file, so type 1 and press enter. Now to choose the option to edit user accounts, type 1 and press enter again. Now the utility will list all local accounts on the PC. Type the respective ID of the user account you need to crack and press enter. Now it will provide a number of options. To choose the option to clear user passwords, type 1 and press enter. Now to save changes and quit the utility, type Q, and once it asks to save the changes, type Y and press enter. Now reboot your system and your password will be removed. Now let's see the actual demonstration. First of all, go to the official website of the utility. Scroll down and here you can see password reset CD USB boot disk. Click on it. A new page will open. Now scroll down again. It will display different versions history. And select the option to download USB version. Once downloaded, extract the files. Now format your USB drive. And paste the files in the USB drive. If you open readme.txt, you can see the installation instructions. Just copy the command from there. Open a command prompt and ensure that you run it as an administrator. Now paste the command and change the drive letter as per your USB drive, which is F in my case. Now press enter. The USB will become bootable. Now on our Windows PC, we can see that it's password locked. Now plug in the USB and reboot the system. Press escape or F12 to enter the boot menu and choose the option to boot from USB or a removable device. Now a new screen will open and press enter to boot from the utility. CHNTPW will start and will load its drivers. Now in step 1, it will search for all the drives for the Windows installation drive. Here in my case, I have only one drive, so enter 1 and press enter. Now in step 2, it will ask which registry file we want to manipulate. We are targeting the SAM file, so type 1 and press enter. Now to choose the option to edit user data and passwords, again type 1 and press enter. It will list all user accounts on the PC. We want to manipulate the account password for our account, so we need to enter its account ID, which is already entered 3EB. So press enter. Now choose the option to clear user password. Type 1 and press enter again. And the password will be cleared. If you scroll up, you can see that it says that password cleared. Now to quit the utility, type Q and press enter. Type Q again and enter. Now the utility will ask whether we want to write the files back. Here you need to type Y and press enter. This step is very essential if you want to apply the changes. Now you can remove the USB and restart your PC. Once the PC is restarted, you can see that it will not ask the password for our account. I hope you like this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can reset Windows passwords with Kali Linux and CHNTPW utility. You have a scenario where you have a physical access to a system which is password locked. We are going to use our Kali Live Boot USB to quickly remove the password of a user to gain access to the system. You need to have Kali Live Boot USB with you. You can check the lecture how to make Kali Linux as a bootable USB drive in the previous section. Plug in your Kali Live USB on your target PC and boot from it. Press Escape or F12, whatever your system supports, and boot from USB. Once Kali is booted, open the drive containing Windows files. Navigate to Windows, System32/config folder. Open it as a root. Now open the terminal and run the following command: CHNTPW-I SAM. -I flag open the CHNTPW utility in an interactive mode. The SAM contains the passwords of all users on Windows as we already know. The utility will show an interactive menu. Now you need to select the option to edit user accounts. Type 1 and press enter. It will list all local accounts on the PC. Type the respective ID of the user account we need to crack. Now select the option to clear passwords. Type 1 and press enter. Now to quit the utility, type Q and press enter. And once it asks whether you want to save changes, type Y and press enter. Now remove the USB drive, reboot your system to Windows and your password will be removed. Now let's move to the actual demonstration. So here we are on our target machine and you can see that it's password locked. Shut it down. Now plug in your Kali Live USB and boot from it. Press Escape or F12 to enter the boot menu and boot from USB. Once Kali shows its menu, choose the option to boot from live system. Kali Linux will automatically start. Now open the drive containing Windows files. Navigate to Windows, System32 and config folder. Here we have SAM and system files. Now right click in the folder and open it as root. Now right click in the folder and choose the option to open terminal here. Now use the command as shown on the screen. CHNTPW utility will start. Now select the option to edit user data and passwords. Type 1 and press enter. It will list all accounts. Here we are targeting the user account of Omar. So type its ID 3E8 and press enter. Now you can see that we can clear the password or we can unlock it. It's already unlocked. So choose the option to clear user password, type 1 and press enter. Now to quit the utility, type Q and press enter. and Q again. And now we need to save the changes. Type Y and press enter. Now just shut down Kali Linux. Remove USB and boot original Windows. And here you can see that password has been removed. I hope you like this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can bypass Windows online authentication by activating a local administrator account. Consider a scenario where you have a physical access to a system, which is password locked, online email password. So we are going to use our Kali Liveboot USB to activate a local administrator account to gain access to the system. You need to have Kali Liveboot USB with you. You can check the lecture Kali Linux as a bootable USB drive in the previous section. Plug in the Kali Live USB on your target PC and boot from it. Use Escape or F12 whatever your system supports to enter into boot menu and boot from USB. Once the Kali is booted, open the drive containing window files. Navigate to Windows, System32 config folder and open it as root. Open the terminal and run the following command: chntpw-i sam. I flag open the chntpw utility in an interactive mode, and sam is the file that contains the passwords of all users on Windows. Now we need to select the option to edit user accounts. Type 1 and press enter. It will list all local accounts on our PC, and you can see that administrator account is available but it's locked. So type the ID of administrator account we need to unlock. Now choose the option to unlock and enable user. Type 2 and press enter. Now to quit, type Q and press enter. And to save the changes, type Y and press enter. Now remove the USB, reboot your system to Windows, and an administrator account will appear with a blank password. You can use this account to log in into your PC. Now let's move to the actual demonstration. So here we have a system which is password locked. It can be a local account or an online email account based password or a pin based password. So just shut it down. Plug in your USB, start your PC and enter into boot menu by pressing escape or F12 whatever your system supports and boot from USB. Start Kali Linux as live system. Once Kali is booted, locate the drive containing system files. Go into Windows folder, System32 folder, and then config folder. Now right click in it and open it as root. Now right click again and select the option to open terminal here. Now start the utility with chntpw command as shown on the screen. Select the option to edit user data and passwords. Type 1 and press enter. Here we need to unlock the administrator account which is locked. So type its ID and press enter. Now choose the option to unlock and enable user account. Type 2 and press enter. Now quit the utility by typing Q and pressing enter. Once prompted to save the file, type Y and press enter. And now shut down your Kali Linux. remove USB and boot into original Windows. And here you can see that administrator account has appeared. You can just click on it and log in with it. Windows will set up administrator account as it's the first time logging in with this account. So in this manner, we can enable a local administrator account on our PC for bypassing online authentication. I hope you like this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can bypass Windows passwords with cron-boot. Cron-boot is the best and easiest way to bypass passwords on Windows as well as on Mac systems. Unlike other solutions, cron-boot does not reset or modify the user's passwords, and all changes are reverted back to previous state after the system restarts, making it undetectable. However, it is a paid tool. The free version 1.1 was deprecated and does not support Windows 10 or 11. Cron-boot can be utilized in a scenario where you have a physical access to a system which is password locked. The tool can be used to quickly bypass the password. Cron-boot is extremely popular and is used by military, law enforcement agencies, IT corporations, professionals, and forensic experts all over the world. So in step 1, purchase the tool from the official website. Now navigate to cron-boot USB folder and run the following file as administrator. Cron-boot will prompt for your USB drive. Just follow the on-screen instructions. Now on your PC, press escape or F12 whatever your system supports and boot from USB. Cron-boot will automatically bypass the password. Now let's see the actual demonstration. So navigate to cron-boot official website. Here you can see that we have different versions available for Windows as well as for Mac systems. It offers two different licenses, a personal license and a commercial license. The commercial license can bypass secure boot option as well. Otherwise, both options support Windows 10 and 11. I already have cron-boot version 2.7 with me. So go into your USB drive and format it. Once formatted, just go into your cron-boot folder, navigate to cron-boot USB folder and execute the script USB install run as admin as administrator. It will prompt to check your USB drive. Click OK and click OK to install it. It will automatically install cron-boot on your USB. Now on your target PC, you can see that it's password locked. Now shut down it. Plug in the USB, turn it on and press escape or F12 to enter boot menu and boot from USB. You will see that cron-boot will automatically boot. And now once you are at login screen, you just need to press enter. And your PC will start without password. So in this manner, we can quickly bypass any password on Windows machine. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can bypass Windows passwords with Boot CD. Boot CD is an alternative utility for cron-boot to bypass Windows passwords, which is totally free. The ISO is based on Windows 10 Professional Edition 64-bit and contains many tools to repair Windows problems. This tool can be used in a scenario where you have a physical access to a system which is password locked. It can be used to quickly bypass and reset the password. In step 1, download the tool from the official website. Now download Rufus to make a bootable USB. Download the portable version. Now run Rufus and select your hire-on boot ISO and USB drive and make it bootable. Now plug in your USB in your target PC, reboot into USB, and you may need to disable secure boot from BIOS settings before booting. Once hire-on boots, search for anti-password edit utility and open it. Now choose the option to open SAM file and then choose the username for which you want to clear the password for. Choose to change the password and once prompted for a new password, enter blank password. Now reboot the system and you will be able to log on without any password. Now let's see the actual demonstration of the tool. So here we have a target system which is password locked. Let's shut it down. Now in Google search for hire-on boot CD. Open the official website. And click the download page. Now scroll down and download the ISO file, which is around 3 GB, and click on start download. Now search for Rufus. Open the official website. Scroll down and download the portable version. Now go into your downloads and execute Rufus. Now select your USB drive and hire-on boot ISO. Ensure that partition scheme is selected as MBR. You can give it a name and click on start. Rufus will make your USB bootable. Once done, you can navigate to USB and see that your files have been copied. Now plug in the USB in your target PC. Start your computer. Open the boot menu by pressing escape and boot into USB. Now hire-on boot CD will start. And you can see that it actually looks like Windows 10. Now click on start and search for anti-password utility. Open it. Now click open to open SAM file. It will list all usernames. Now select the target username. Here you can also unlock the administrator account if it's logged and click to change password. Once prompted for password, give it a blank password and click OK. And click on Save Changes. Now shut down your PC. Remove the USB and boot again. And you will see that you will be able to log on without any password. Thanks for watching the lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can hack and bypass Windows passwords with Windows Boot Disk. Windows Boot Disk provides an easy method to bypass account restrictions and access a system. Any Windows ISO image, Windows 10 or 11 can be used for the attack, and this method can be used to reset Windows 10 or Windows 11 passwords. It is very useful in a scenario where you have a physical access to a system which is password locked. The method can be used to quickly bypass the password. In first step, download Windows ISO image from the official website. You can download Windows 10 or Windows 11 image, and you do not need any license key for this attack. Now download Rufus to make a bootable USB and choose the portable version to download. Now run Rufus and select your Windows ISO, the USB drive, and make it bootable. Now plug in your USB and reboot into USB drive. Once Windows starts, choose the option to repair Windows. Now choose the option to troubleshoot, and in troubleshoot menu, choose advanced options. Now in advanced menu, choose the option to open command prompt. Now we need to make the Windows drive available for manipulation, and we are going to use disk part to assign letter to a Windows drive. Now run the command as shown on the screen in the same sequence. Disk part will start the disk part utility. List volume to list available disk drives. Now to select the Windows drive, use the command select volume, and to assign the letter, use the command assign letter C, and then exit the utility. Now rename utilman.exe to some other file name and copy cmd as utilman.exe in Windows System 32 folder. Now remove USB, reboot the system, and click on accessibility icon in the right corner. A command prompt will appear. Now you can use the command as shown on the screen to reset the password of a user account. You can also add a new user with the commands if only online accounts are available on a PC. Now let's see the actual demonstration. So here we have a target PC which is password locked. We shut it down. Now to download Windows ISOs, you can go to Microsoft website and download Windows 10 or Windows 11 image. I am going to use Windows 10 ISO, so navigate to Windows 10 installation media and click on download. Now search for Rufus, open the official website, scroll down and download the portable version. Now go into your downloads and execute Rufus. Choose your USB drive and select the downloaded ISO file. If you are on a newer PC, select the partition scheme as GPT and click Start. It will make our Windows ISO as a bootable USB drive. Now plug in your USB in your target computer, start the computer and boot into USB. Once the installation window starts, click on Next, choose the option to repair your computer, click on Troubleshoot, choose the advanced options and click on Command Prompt. Now execute the utility disk part. Use the command list volumes to list all volumes. My Windows files are located in volume 1. So type in the command select volume 1 and press enter. Now assign it a letter with assign command. Now type exit. Now navigate to C. Now navigate to Windows System 32 folder. Now rename utilman.exe to some other name. And copy cmd as utilman. Now reboot your PC. Move the USB. And once the original window starts, click on the accessibility icon in the right corner. A command prompt will open. Now use the command netuser to list all usernames on the PC. And to reset Amar's password, type in the command netuser amar and static. Give it a blank password and press enter. Now close it. Now you can log on your PC without any password. Just press enter and your PC will start. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can reset Windows passwords with Laysoft free utility. Laysoft can easily recover your Windows passwords when you forgot or lost it, and can also retrieve your Windows CD key. It works for Windows 7 and Windows 10. However, it does not work on Windows 11 yet. This utility can be used in a scenario where you have a physical access to a system which is password locked. It can be used to quickly reset the password. In first step, download Laysoft password recovery tool from the official website. Must download it, install it, and then run it. Now choose your target operating system, which will be Windows 10 in our case. Select your USB drive and click on Start to make it bootable. Now plug the USB in your target PC, reboot into USB. Once it boots, choose the option to reset password. Now select your Windows drive and choose the option to reset local password. It will list all accounts. Choose your target account name and click Next. Now click on Reset Unlock button and your password will reset, and then click on Finish. Let's see the actual demonstration of the utility. So our target PC is password locked. Just shut it down. Now go to Google, search for Laysoft password recovery. Open the official website. Laysoft offers different tools for Windows recovery as well as password recovery and data recovery. It offers different versions of Recover My Password software. Click on version comparison. And you can see that there are 4 different versions available, and home license is totally free. However, it does not work with live accounts. Now click on download, scroll down and download the home edition and click on start download. Once downloaded, install it. And open it. Now click on Burn Bootable CD/USB disk now. Choose the target operating system, which is Windows 10 in our case, and click on Next. Now select the option of USB drive and click on Start. It will automatically download the essential files from Microsoft website. Now click on Finish. Now plug the USB in your target PC and reboot your PC. Enter into boot menu by pressing Escape and boot from USB. Now you will see that LayerSoft Recover My Password utility will start. Choose the option to reset Windows password. Click on Next. Now choose the Windows drive, which is volume 1 in our case, and choose the option to reset local passwords and click on Next. Now all usernames will be listed. Choose your target account, which is Amar in our case, and click on Next. Now press the button Reset Unlock, and it will prompt that the password is reset successfully. Click on OK and click on Finish. Now shut down your PC. Now remove the USB and boot your PC. And you will see that your PC will start automatically without any password. I hope you like this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can crack Windows passwords with Offcrack and Kali Linux. Offcrack is a free Windows password cracker based on rainbow tables. It comes with a graphical user interface and runs on multiple platforms. Rainbow tables are pre-computed hashes of a dictionary, which makes cracking much faster than a dictionary attack. This attack can be used in a scenario where you have a physical access to a system which is password locked. The tool can be used to quickly crack the password. Here we are actually cracking the password and not bypassing it or resetting it. We need to have Kali Live Boot USB. You can check the lecture Kali Linux as a bootable USB drive in the previous section. So in step 1, boot from Kali Linux USB drive. Plug in your USB to target PC and boot from USB. You may need to press Escape or F12 to enter into boot menu. Now navigate to Windows System32 config folder and copy SAM and system files to Kali desktop. Now run Offcrack from Application Password Attacks. Now click on Load Encrypted Hashes by clicking Load and then choosing Encrypted SAM. Choose the desktop folder. All accounts and their hashes will be loaded. Now visit the official Offcrack website and download visitor-free rainbow tables from there and extract them. In Offcrack, click on Tables and install the table. Now click on Crack and the utility will automatically crack your password. Now let's see the actual demonstration. So here we have our target PC which is password locked. We shut it down. Turn it on and press Escape to enter boot menu. Now boot from USB. Now select the option to boot Kali as Live OS. Once Kali starts, look for the Windows drive, double click on it to mount it. Now navigate to Windows, System32 folder and then config folder. Now right click in the folder and open the folder as root. Now look for SAM and system files. And copy both these files to the desktop. Now click on Applications, navigate to Password Attacks and open Offcrack. Click on Load button and select the option Encrypted SAM. Now select the desktop folder and click Open. And you will see that all hashes will be loaded automatically in Offcrack. Here we are targeting a mar username. Now click on tables and you can see that we don't have any tables installed. Now open your browser, open the official AllCrack website, click on tables, scroll down and search for Vista Free and download it. Once the tables are downloaded, open the downloads folder. Right click on the tables and extract them. Now click on tables in AllCrack again. Select Vista Free and click on install. Now select the extracted folder and click open. And in the tables tab, you will see that Vista Free tables will appear. Now click on crack. Now AllCrack will start cracking the password, and once cracked, it will be displayed on screen. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can crack Windows passwords with AllCrack on Windows. This can be used in a scenario where you have physical access to a system which is password locked. We can copy the file hashes and then use the tool to crack the password in an offline attack on Windows. It may also be possible to crack other users' passwords on the same system. We have different methods for obtaining hashes of the passwords. The first method, you can copy SAM and system files after booting from the live Kali USB drive. The second method, you can directly dump the hashes with AllCrack. And in the third method, you can use some command line tools to dump hashes from the registry. So in first step, download AllCrack from official website. Now download Vista Free Rainbow tables and extract them. In AllCrack, click on tables and install the tables. Now let's see how we can dump the hashes. In AllCrack, click on load and choose the option to load from SAM with SAMDump2. But remember, this may not work on latest Windows 10 or 11. Now in the second method, you can use these commands as shown on the screen to dump hashes directly from the registry. Now click on load encrypted hashes in AllCrack and choose the folder where you have saved the registry backups. Now in the third method, you can boot from Kali Live USB. You can navigate to Windows System32 config folder and copy SAM and system files. Once copied to the main machine, you can click on load encrypted hashes in AllCrack and select the folder. Now let's see how we can crack hashes. Once we have hash and rainbow tables installed, you can click on crack and the password will be cracked. Now let's see the actual demonstration. First of all, on Google, search for AllCrack and open the official website. Now click on download and download the AllCrack for Windows. Once downloaded, extract the folder and you will have both 32-bit and 64-bit versions available. Now open it. Click on tables and you will see that we don't have any rainbow table installed. Now go back to AllCrack official website. Click on tables and download visitor-free tables. If you want, you can also download larger tables. Once the tables are downloaded, extract them and then go to Tables in AllCrack, choose the option of Vista Free and click on Install. Now select the directory of Vista Free tables and choose the option to select folder. Now click on OK and you will see that Vista Free tables will appear. Now let's see some methods to dump the hashes. Now in first method, you can simply click on Load and select the option to dump local SAM with SAM dump tool. However, this method does not work after Windows 10 anniversary update, but it may work in Windows 7 or if you are using some older versions of Windows 10. Now in second method, open a command prompt. Use the command reg.exe to save SAM and system files. You can use the command as shown on the screen. These files will be saved in C temporary folder. Now in AllCrack, click on Load Encrypted SAM and choose C temporary folder. And you will see that all hashes will be loaded. Now let's move over to the third method. Just plug in your live USB in your target PC and boot from USB. Choose the option to boot from live system. Once Kali boots, double click the Windows drive to mount it and then go to Windows System32 config folder. Now open the folder as root and copy SAM and system files. I'm using VMware, so I'm directly copying them to my main machine. You can use a USB to copy the files. Now in AllCrack, click on Load and select the option of Encrypted SAM. Choose the folder where you have pasted these files. And you will see that hashes will be loaded. Now simply click Crack and AllCrack will crack our password. And once the password is cracked, it will be displayed. I hope you like this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can crack Windows passwords with John. John the Ripper is one of the most popular password cracking tools available in most penetration testing Linux distributions like Kali Linux, Parrot OS, etc. It has a user-friendly command line interface and has the ability to crack most password hash types. In this lesson, we are going to see how we can use John to crack Windows passwords. This tool is useful in a scenario where you have a physical access to a system which is password locked. It can be used to quickly crack the password. Remember, we are actually cracking the password and not bypassing it, and it may take some time. The attack will work in two steps. In step 1, we are going to get the hash from the SAM file, and then we are going to crack the hash with John. For this attack, we need to have Kali Live Boot USB. You can check the lecture Kali Linux as a bootable USB drive to learn how to make a bootable USB. To boot from Kali Linux USB drive, plug in USB to target PC and boot from it. Now navigate to Windows System32 config folder and copy SAM and system files to the desktop. Now open the terminal on the desktop and dump hashes with the given command. Here samdump2 is the tool we are using. Hash.txt will contain all hashes that we are aiming to crack. Once we have the hashes, crack the password using John's inbuilt dictionary file. You can use the command as shown on the screen. If your password is complex, you can try RawQ dictionary. But first we need to uncompress the file. So use the gunzip command as shown on the screen to uncompress the file. Now to use John with RawQ dictionary, use the command as shown on the screen. Here rawq.txt is the dictionary and hash.txt is the hash file that we are aiming to crack. And once the password is cracked, it will be displayed on screen. If you want to try some other dictionaries against the passwords, I have already provided the link in the presentation. Now let's see the demonstration. First of all, plug in your Kali Live USB in your target PC and boot from it. Choose the live system to boot. Now double click on the Windows volume to mount it. Navigate to Windows, System32, config folder and copy SAM and system files to the desktop. Now right click on the desktop and choose the option to open terminal here. Now use samdump2 command to dump the hashes. Now you can open hash.txt file and see that our hashes are available. Now to crack these passwords with John using default dictionary, use the command John with W flag. And once the password is cracked, it will be displayed on screen. Now if you want to crack the passwords with RawQ dictionary that comes pre-built in Kali Linux, we need to first uncompress it. First of all, locate where this dictionary is located with locate command. Now use the gunzip command to uncompress it. Now to use this dictionary, use John with W flag and give full path of RawQ dictionary. And execute the command. Once the password is cracked, it will be displayed on screen. I hope you like this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can crack Windows passwords with Hashcat. Hashcat is a GPU-based tool, so you need to have it running on a machine with a powerful graphic card with all drivers. It can be your Windows machine, Ubuntu Kali machine, or you can even do it in the cloud. For this lecture, we are going to use it on Windows with all GPU drivers installed. The concept is fairly simple. In step 1, we are going to get the hashes from SAM file with Kali Linux, and in step 2, we are going to crack these hashes with Hashcat and RawQ dictionary on our PC. This attack can be used in a scenario where you have physical access to a system which is password locked. The tool can be used to quickly crack the password. You can copy the extracted hashes from the SAM file with Kali Linux in a USB drive, and then in your own time, in offline mode, you can crack the hashes at your home on your main PC with Hashcat. We need to have Kali Live Boot USB for this attack. You can check the lecture Kali Linux as a bootable USB drive to learn how to make a bootable USB. In first step, install Hashcat from official website in your main PC. Now download and extract the ROP2 dictionary in your Hashcat folder. Now boot from Kali Linux USB drive. Plug in your USB to target PC and boot from it. Now navigate to Windows System32 config folder and copy SAM and system file to the Kali desktop. Now open the terminal on desktop and dump the hashes with SAM dump tool. Hash.txt will contain all hashes that we are aiming to crack. Now copy this hash.txt file to the Hashcat folder on your main PC. You can use a USB to copy the file. Open PowerShell, then use the command to crack the password. Here 1000 tells the Hashcat that it's a Windows password to be cracked. Crack.txt will store all cracked passwords. Hash.txt is the source file and ROQ is our dictionary. Once Hashcat cracks the password, you can open crack.txt file to view the cracked password. Let's see the demonstration of the attack. First of all, on Google, search for Hashcat. Open official website and download the binaries for Windows. And click on download. Once downloaded, extract Hashcat folder and you can see all the files here. Now we need to download the ROP2 dictionary. You can just paste the link as given in the presentation and downloading will automatically start. Once the dictionary is downloaded, copy it to the Hashcat folder. Now plug in Kali Live USB in your target PC and boot from USB. Choose the live option to boot. Once Kali starts, double click the drive containing Windows files to mount it. Navigate to Windows. System32 and config folder and copy SAM and system files to the desktop. Now right click on your desktop and choose the option to open terminal here. Now use the command SAM dump2 to dump hashes. You can open hash.txt file and verify that all hashes have been dumped. Now you can copy this file to the USB drive and copy it to your main machine. I am using a virtual machine, so I can directly copy it to the main machine. Now paste this file in Hashcat folder. Right click in the Hashcat folder and open PowerShell window. Now run Hashcat with the given command as shown on the screen. Here you do not need to give D2 and D3 flags. I require them because it helps me choose my graphic card. Hashcat will automatically crack the password. And once the password is cracked, you can open crack.txt file and view your cracked password. I hope you like this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can extract passwords from RAM with Mimikatz tool. You can use this attack if you have a physical access to a system which is password locked with strong security policies. We can extract the password hashes from RAM and then crack them with John. This tool is also used in post-exploitation phase to extract hashes from RAM. Mimikatz is a credential dumper capable of obtaining plain text Windows account logins and passwords, along with many other features that make it useful for testing the security of networks. It has been dubbed as one of the most powerful Windows password stealers by Byte.com. It can be used to retrieve account hashes from active RAM. First go to Task Manager and right click on Local System Authority Process and select to create dump file, which will be stored in temporary folder. Now download Mimikatz and extract it. Now run these commands in sequence to extract hashes from the dump. It will show hashes of all logged in accounts, which are also stored in hash.txt file. Now let's see how we can crack these hashes. You can use John or hashcat to crack the password. Copy hash.txt file to your calling machine and use this command to crack the password. Once the password is cracked, it will be displayed on screen. Now let's see the tool in action. First of all, go to GitHub official website for Mimikatz and download the tool. Once downloaded, extract it. You will have both 32-bit and 64-bit versions available. Now open command prompt. Navigate to Mimikatz directory. And run the tool. Now elevate its privileges with privilege command. Now we need the dump from memory. So open Task Manager. Scroll to Local Security Authority Process. Right click on it and create dump file. The dump will be created and stored in temporary folder. Now to save the results, use log command. And then open the dump with minidump. And then use the command log on passwords to see all hashes. Now close it. You can also see the results in hash.txt file. Now remove all excessive data from the file and leave only username with hash. Now copy over this file to your calling machine. Open the terminal and use John to crack the password with default dictionary. And once the password is cracked, it will be displayed on screen. Now let's compare some password cracking tools. We have studied different tools for resetting and bypassing passwords. CHNTPW is a free utility that is the most reliable. and it also comes pre-built in Kali Linux. Now Conboot is the fastest utility that can bypass passwords, but it is not free. Iron Boot CD is free and easy to use, but it comes in a large size, more than 3 GBs. Whereas less soft password recovery only works on Windows 10. So if you are targeting live accounts, you can use only the Conboot and less soft password recovery in commercial editions, and both are paid tools. However, you can activate local administrator account with CHNTPW and Iron Boot CD. So my personal favorite for bypassing passwords is Conboot. However, I mostly use CHNTPW on Kali because it comes pre-built with Kali and I can use it from Kali Live USB. Similarly, for password cracking tools, we have different options. John is the easiest to use, whereas Hashcat is the fast GPU-based cracker. Both John and Hashcat use word lists to crack the passwords, whereas Offcrack uses pre-computed hashes called rainbow tables to crack the password. Whereas the last tool, Mimikatz, can recover hashes from RAM as well. However, it is complex to use. The choice of a password cracker will depend on your target and how complex the password is.